So I think the important thing is that you just keep putting one foot in front of the other and doing what you can on a daily basis and stepping back when you can't. But I think the fact that we have formed this group kind of holds us accountable to continue to do something.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to How to Not Lose Your Shit. My name is Katie Paris, and I'm the founder of Red, Wine, and Blue.
And I'm LaFonda Cousin, a part-time yoga instructor, self-care advocate, and the chief people officer here at Red, Wine, and Blue.
Okay, so I'm super excited today because we are going to have a woman named Jennifer Clawson, who is a friend of mine that I met at the gym. Then she became a community leader, still is today, of one of our local Red, Wine, and Blue TroubleNation groups. Hers is called Hope in the Heights, which I love that name. So the evolution of this woman from, gym friend to local community leader, it's just got me really thinking about the role of going to the gym in my own life and how it's been a source of really my own mental health. There's a lot to lose our shit about this week. We are seeing, ICE vans come into communities, more and more masked agents taking kids out of apartment buildings, troops deployed into American cities. Our communities are under assault from this government, and we have the government shutdown continuing in the midst of all of it. I mean, there's a lot to hold going on in the world, a lot to lose our shit over. And we have got to dig deep in terms of finding all the sources that we can for strength in ourselves and in our communities. And so this is one really cool way I think that we can explore that this week to keep our bodies strong, to keep our spirits strong. I've been someone who's gone to the gym since I don't know, I can't even remember, probably like high school when I was playing sports, started then and just kept it up. And still to this day, if I'm just in a mood, I need to get my butt to the gym. It's just like those endorphins. It helps me. It just helps me so much. So what about you though? I mean, you have become this like yoga mama.
So I was not like a gym girl. I didn't love it. I still don't love to work out. It's not my favorite thing to do. I thought that I was going to be a runner at some point, but I am definitely of the mind that if I am running, everybody else should be running too, because something is chasing us.
Fair.
Do not, if I'm running, you should run. But I liked yoga. I did yoga as part of just like occasionally I would do yoga, but many years ago, I can't even remember how many years ago it has been at this point. I think it's like 15 years ago. And I was in a really bad car accident. I was hit by a drunk driver. My car was T-boned by a drunk driver. I was on the passenger side and fractured 2 bones in my spine. Had to spend a week in the hospital. And so from there, I've had back problems, like really, really bad back problems, physical therapy, and had to get injections and all of the things. Fast forward, it's 2020. My daughter is in high school. I decided that I wanted to get healthier. Something was like, if you want to make sure that you're there for your daughter's graduation and you're there for her college graduation. And, if she decides that she wants to have children, you want to be there for those things. And I decided to get healthier. And so in my mind, it was like, just get on the treadmill and walk for 10 minutes a day. And just get on the treadmill and walk for 15 minutes a day. And 15 minutes turned into 30 minutes and then 45 minutes and then an hour. And then I was reading, a book on the treadmill. And then I did like an Apple Fitness class where I did a yoga class, and it just like sparked again that I really loved yoga. And that love for yoga came back. But I was still having, these back issues. And so I took yoga teacher training classes because I wanted to understand how my own body worked. I started to talk about it to other people and they were like, but what about me? And so I started teaching because people were interested in the idea of yoga. To me, it felt like an important opportunity to bring yoga to spaces where people didn't typically look like me. You go to yoga classes, yoga teachers don't look like me. They didn't have body types like me. And so that was important to me. And so then I kept doing it because that started to feel like the right thing to do, was introducing yoga to communities that weren't always privy to yoga or didn't have yoga teachers or yoga instructors that look like me. And so there's just so many benefits to taking care of the full wellness of a person, mental, physical, emotional wellness of a person. And that's always just been intriguing to me. So there's what I tell people all the time that I like about yoga is, like, as an introvert, it's a single person workout situation. Like, it's about me. I tell my classes, like, this is your opportunity to be selfish, but there's also community. Like, you're doing it as a group, but you're focused on yourself. So you get the best of both worlds in yoga to me. So yeah.
I mean, it sounds like, yeah, I mean, you went into this as a very needed self-care routine to recover from a terrible accident. And then it evolved for you into community care. And then what's been really cool is that how you have brought this offering to, in beautiful ways, to Red, Wine, and Blue. You've done yoga offerings with our team. You've done some wellness meditations on Zoom calls with lots of our members at times where we need to refocus.
I've been grateful for that. Yeah. Team North Carolina has invited me to some things. And so, yeah, it's been great.
The gym for me has always been a place where I sort of escape from my work life, other stresses in my life, from political organizing. But it's evolved in a really unexpected way for me. I think it might have something to do with the fact that the gym I go to is run by women. Probably 90% of the membership is women. And there is just like a sense of empowerment and community there. And so the fact that my friendships at this gym have evolved in a way of women working together in Ohio for reproductive rights, women now working together locally to organize in their community. Like, it makes going to the gym something I truly look forward to connect with these women. And also, like, they keep it real. It's not like, okay, we show up every day and we're like, okay, in between pull-ups, like, okay, what are we doing at our next meeting to organize? I mean, sometimes we are actually, but that's not normal. Like, usually we're just supporting each other and, like, cheering each other on. And so it's been kind of this surprise. And I've just been thinking about it more lately with this podcast where we're exploring, like, that intersection between self-care and politics. And this has been an intersection in my own life that I never expected.
Yeah.
I'm excited that we have Jennifer here.
I am too. I'm excited to talk to her about all of the things. So
100%. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to be joined by my friend, Jennifer Clawson.
On his first day back in the White House, Donald Trump signed a controversial executive order stating that there are only two genders, male and female, and that those genders are tied to biological sex. This statement was simple and devastating, and it signaled that the gender backlash had reached a boiling point. I'm Julie Kohler, the host of White Picket Fence. This season, we're examining the many faces of this gender backlash, how it's showing up in our politics and culture. It's a scary time, but it's also a moment for imagination. What becomes possible when we imagine a better future? Subscribe to White Picket Fence wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hi, Jennifer. Welcome to How to Not Lose Your Shit. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's always good to see your face.
Thank you.
So, Jennifer, I want to see if between the two of us, we can put together how exactly we met and how it is that you came to be a fierce leader in our own community of Hope in the Heights, a local Red, White, and Blue TroubleNation group. So I definitely know that we just met at the gym.
We did.
So there's time slots, right? It's like a small group training situation, you guys. And so basically, Jennifer and I were showing up at the same time slot, and the people who are kind of regulars in a certain time slot, like, they kind of become your people, We've probably high-fived like several hundred times.
We did. And it was funny because it was the day of one of our elections, actually. I had done some things with Red, Wine, and Blue. I had done some of the text canvassing. I had signed up and done the emails, and it was something that I just always thought, oh, that's pretty cool. I'll do what I can. And then I never knew who you were. And then I think the day of this election, you had on a green hoodie.
Importantly, what did the green hoodie say? What did it say?
It said something about voting in Ohio. I don't remember.
It said, yes, on issue 1 was our reproductive rights ballot initiative in 2023. Yes.
Yes. And I saw you later on that day on Facebook on Red, Wine, and Blue. You had made a video, and I was like, I almost lost my mind. I was like, oh, that's her. That's Katie. Like, I had no idea. So then the next time I saw you at the gym, I fangirled out on you because I was like, that is so cool. Look at what you have built. Look at this thing that you have created.
Aww.
So I just found that so inspiring. So that's actually how we
okay. And
started
am I remembering correctly that you made this connection because in the video I was wearing the green hoodie?
You were wearing the green hoodie. Exactly.
Okay. So the moral of the story is I need to wear the green hoodie every day so I could make connections between people I see at the gym or the grocery store or whatever. And Red, White, and Blue.
Exactly, because I knew your name. I didn't even know I knew your name in the gym was Katie, but I didn't know your last name. I knew Katie Paris was Red, White, and Blue. So then when I saw your face on the video, it all came together. So that's how that happened.
I love that. Okay, so from there, I'm sure we celebrated the victory for issue 1 because if that was election day, yes, we were probably like, "Oh my gosh, is it going to pass all this?"
Exactly, and fortunately, that did pass. That passed.
Yes, and that was so exciting in Ohio because to be able to pull off such a big win for reproductive freedom in a state where people weren't so sure that we could do that. And I remember that being super bonding. I mean, our gym is mostly women.
Right.
And cheers to the guys too, who helped make it happen here in Ohio. But that was a really LaFonda knows about my high-fiving at the gym. We just high-five a lot. It's very supportive. At first I was like, I don't know if I can do this. All these people are high-fiving. But now I'm so into it. And then, so we're high-fiving because we did our pull-ups and then we're high-fiving because we passed reproductive rights. And yeah. And then, okay. So then how does this evolve to you becoming a leader of Hope in the Heights?
So at some point you approached me and Amy, who was another gym member. None of us had been really politically active before, and I still don't really consider myself politically active. I consider it just doing my part. But all of us felt like there was something that we all had to do something. And that was kind of how we came together. And even after our first meeting, they laugh at me because they were like, I had to leave early, and I found out later the 4 of them were like, oh, we're never going to see her again, because I was so not sure. But then later on that afternoon, I started texting them all these ideas, and they said, okay, well, I guess she's in.
She's in.
But it took a while for it to sink in. Everything that is for you, you don't necessarily recognize as for you in that moment. But I kind of had to think on it and let it brew. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought it was really a good idea. We live in, like I said, Northeast Ohio. Northeast Ohio has used to swing elections. And our hope was that we could swing this very important one. Unfortunately, in this case, it didn't quite work the way we wanted to, but
in 2024, but now we're on to 2025.
Exactly.
And you all have one of the group leads, Jenny, is running for school board locally.
She is.
And Jenny was actually a trainer at our gym. So we know that woman can hold us accountable and lead.
She can.
And Jennifer, so it started with just a few of you. And now, I mean, how many people have joined up with Hope in the Heights?
So we have 420 some on our rolls. Yeah.
So I'm hearing the gym is the place to recruit for TroubleNation.
It seems to be a good spot.
Strong bodies, strong spirits, Can we dig into this idea, Jennifer, you're saying of I didn't consider myself political. I still don't really, but here you are leading this badass group that is engaging women and men locally in all kinds of actions. Like, I think that's so interesting. Like, it even says on the Red, White, and Blue website, like, not political, no problem, join us. And why is it for you that you think, you don't consider yourself political? But like, I'm not political, but what is that about for you, or and for other women, you think?
I think before, I mean, politics touches everybody and everything. And if you didn't know that before,
Definitely know now.
you definitely have learned it in the last 10 years. I've always been a Democrat, but when I've lived through Republican presidents like George Bush, Ronald Reagan, both George Bushes, I didn't feel like my very existence was on the line. We lived in an area where in a time where you could have political disagreements, but still you felt like you were functioning as a country, as a democracy. You didn't worry about people getting, snatched up off the streets. You didn't worry about getting your rights just stripped away. So I think in those times, I just felt like I wasn't political. I definitely voted in every election. I think that's crucial. But now I guess I would say I'm political, but I don't even put it in those words. I say it's more I'm just a humanitarian, and this is the way you have to be engaged to make sure that we are all able to exist and live up to our potential without having our rights stripped, without having our health care taken away, without being judged by our skin color and kept out of society for all of these reasons that we're seeing now. So I guess being political is more a question of just trying to do the right thing so that people can just live.
That resonates very deeply with me. I think that, Katie and I had that conversation when I started. I say it all the time that, I didn't consider myself political for all the same reasons that, like, to me, like, being human and just having the right to exist every day should not be political. And so I felt the same way. I didn't have a fear of just walking out of the front door and having friends or family or whoever not come back. That doesn't feel like it should be political to me. So you're right. These last 10 years or so have felt very, very different. And that it just doesn't feel like it should be political. So that just feels very in line with what drew me to Red, Wine, and Blue, and why these conversations, I think, are really important right now.
Yeah, I think that when we think about when someone says like, oh, you're just being political, we mean by that, like, you're grandstanding, you're just talking off of talking points, you're trying to figure out what the advantage may be for you. But Jennifer, you're right too. Like, ultimately, politics does impact all of us. So to me, the heart of what y'all are saying is like, I'm going to influence politics. I am going to be in politics, but I'm not going to be of it.
Mm-hmm.
And the what's at stake here is much bigger than any kind of game. You mentioned how devastating the losses were in 2024, Jennifer. I'm curious, has sharing that experience with other women in your group, did that help? Y'all coming together?
It did. So the four of us at the time who were organizers got together the next day, and actually that night, or the next night, because we got the results early in the morning, we were texting back and forth, and the wine was flowing for some of us.
Right there in the name.
I mean, that's what we do, the group chat and maybe some little wine.
We had the group chat going, and then we got together in person the next day and just vented because we were very angry, and a lot of that anger still has not dissipated.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there was a period of time, and I think we still work through this depending on the day. One of the questions was how do we continue to lead a group when we feel so hopeless inside?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's real.
I think for me, the answer has been actually drawing on the four of them. Also, when I need strength, taking a break when I need it, kind of narrowing in on what I can actually do and what I can't do, because I can't take it all on. None of us can take it all on. You can only take on certain portions of it, and even that, you can only take on certain portions at certain hours of certain days. So I think the important thing is that you just keep putting one foot in front of the other and doing what you can on a daily basis and stepping back when you can't. But I think the fact that we have formed this group kind of holds us accountable to continue to do something.
Yeah.
It's not going to look perfect every day. The way we run our meetings changes depending on the month. Who shows up changes depending on the month. But I think it's the act of continuing to have to do something and trying to impart that to our members, that we all have to do something, even when you don't feel like it's actually working.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of don't have any choice but to do what you can.
I mean, I think LaFonda and I can relate, right? Like in the leading Red, White, and Blue, as an organization and this community of women that we have all across the country now. It is. I remember feeling the same way. Like, how do I lead in this moment?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that for me, it was thinking about, what, like following the 2016 election, we didn't have this community, but we have it now. And like that sort of is the answer. 2 days after the election, we held that national Zoom call. I think we called it like how to show up for each other, in our communities, for ourselves, for our kids, even when it's hard. The fact that we have that space to process it together, that's where we continue to draw strength.
Right. That makes a difference. And I was thinking about the title of your podcast, which I love, How Not to Lose Your Shit. But for me, I feel like you're going to lose your shit and it's okay. It's like that adage about feel the fear and do it
Yep.
anyway. Lose your shit and do it anyway.
Yes.
And that's the point. That's the point, is giving people the permission to take the time to lose your shit, giving people the space to process that, like, some of this is not normal. Some of this is heartbreaking. Some of this is like, you are going to lose your shit in some of these moments. And like, here's the space to lose your shit together. Here's the space to cry about it together. Here's the space to process it together. Here's the space to grieve together. But also in this same space, let's brainstorm together. Let's rally together. Let's hold each other up together so we can keep moving forward. 'Cause that same community that's helping you grieve together is also going to be the community that helps you move forward. And we have to be able to give people both of those things, because those people that know how you felt in that moment where it all fell apart are going to be the people that are going to be able to remind you that, like, hey, remember when that was real shitty, last year? That's the reason we are still doing this today. So let's keep moving forward.
Right. Right. Well, we can all do hard things. We have all done harder things than this in the past, personally and in your personal life. So we can all do hard things. We don't like to do them, but they are doable. We have survived. And
Can I ask you both a question as a white woman talking to two Black women? Let's just name it. Black women have been leading in this work for so long. I mean, both of you are in this work, carrying more of this burden as we move forward. I mean, what do you wish that you were seeing more of from white women in this moment?
I wish that I was seeing more white people in general out there, because I see how people came together with the Jimmy Kimmel thing
Mm-hmm.
and how they turned that around in 1 day, 2 days, maybe max.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I see journalists like Joy Reid taken off the air, Washington Post columnist whose name is escaping me at the moment, who recently left, people like Roland Martin, people like Don Lemon, people who have continually spoken out against this regime even before it became entrenched as a regime. And it makes me angry, because as a society, we could turn this around quickly if everybody was committed to actually turning it around. And I have not seen that yet on a larger scale. I have gone to a few marches myself, but right now I don't really plan on going to any others. I publicize them, but I don't want to put this Black body
Mm-hmm.
out there if there aren't enough white bodies who are really showing that this regime is a terrible thing. So I do wish there wasn't so much capitulation.
I think for me, I wish I was seeing the same allyship and advocacy and accountability from white women that they expect when times are tough for Black women, that they expect from Black women literally all the time. I think that when I see that when it gets heavy, when it gets tough, when it impacts white women directly, they want Black women to step in. They want Black women to be a part of the fight for the broader cause. But when it impacts Black women specifically, white women are oftentimes really, really silent, except for a small few. And that is infuriating. Honestly, it fills me with a kind of rage that I can't even explain. And I just across the board, I think it's the same thing that Jennifer is saying. There's a silence. There is a small protest when things impact Black women, or when Black women say, hey y'all, this is getting ready to happen. Listen to what is getting ready to happen. It has happened historically over and over and over again. And then when it happens, there's this outcry of, how come Black women aren't helping us? How come Black women aren't marching? How come Black women aren't, putting themselves in the line of fire for us? And that is really, really infuriating, honestly.
It is. It is. Can I share one story? I was at a protest maybe a couple months ago, and I was, overwhelmingly white. And I was approached by a white woman who just, tapped me on my shoulder and kind of asked, so, where are the rest of your Black brothers and sisters? And I responded to her, I need you to ask your white brothers and sisters, where are you?
Mm-hmm.
Because we have reasons why we're not out there. But and it's kind of like LaFonda said, it's as though our absence is only noticed at sometimes.
Yeah.
Because there are plenty of spaces that have long been overwhelmingly white. And it is infuriating when people don't ask, well, why is the boardroom overwhelmingly white? Why is the university overwhelmingly white? But when there's a protest, it's like, oh my God, where are all the Black people? Oh my God, we need them.
Oh, heard. Thank you both for that. I mean, that felt like a really powerful call to action for me. We got to step up out there, white women. Listen to the wisdom here from Jennifer and LaFonda. Thank you.
I do want to quickly talk about that. I heard you used to teach yoga, and I teach yoga as well. So can we talk about how you've used yoga as like a self-care space, and how you're using yoga as sort of a balance of self-care and politics? And how are you doing any of that?
So I taught yoga for about 11 years. I haven't taught it. I stopped it quite a few years ago, maybe 10 years ago, because I was balancing doing yoga. I was balancing raising my kids, and I also have fibromyalgia, which creates widespread pain. And so there was a point where just doing all of that was not helpful. So I needed to take some time off from teaching. I'll throw a downward dog up every once in a while. I've started doing some more restorative yoga. That was one of the modalities that I taught.
Yes.
And I do enjoy restorative yoga because I recognize that there is this need to just relax my body, relax my mind. I'll do a little bit of meditation. Chanting is actually something that I've kind of picked up again, that I find kind of centers me a little bit more. but I kind of take from a bunch of different modalities to try to keep myself I was about to say keep myself together, but I never actually feel like I'm actually together.
There's no such thing.
I'm not going to lie and say that.
This is why I love you. Yeah.
But I think definitely it's important to be conscious of this
Yeah.
being.
Yeah.
Because this is all we have to get through this planet on. I do want to be around and see what my kids do. I want to be around and travel with my husband. And that's where I've kind of had to play around with figuring out, okay, how much of my life do I want Donald Trump to take from me? Because I feel like he's already taken years literally off my life. I think living through COVID has taken years off of all of our lives. I think the stress of him has taken years off of our lives. And I've had to decide. I just turned 55 and was like, I don't want the second half of my life to be fighting all of the time.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I have to do something, but I can't let it totally devour me. In order to keep it from totally devouring me, I have to do other things like spend time with friends and, do the little bit I can through Hope in the Heights. And, I think you always have to continue to try to grow.
I mean, I see this meme floating around that's like, what is your favorite yoga pose and why is it Shavasana? And I think that's fair.
Yes.
There's a lady here in Dallas. I'm in Dallas, and there's a lady here in Dallas that does like a floating sound bath. So it's like a rooftop pool on top of a hotel on floaties. And then she does like the sound bath things. I haven't done it, but it is on my list of things to do. So
that sounds incredible.
You got to report back on that one.
Yes. I've done sound baths with a couple people here, but I can imagine just adding the floating element.
I'm afraid to fall asleep and fall in, but also I'm willing to take the chance.
Yeah.
You all are both like varsity level wellness with these sound baths, but I do want to hear about it. I do want the debrief. Jennifer, thank you for that wisdom. I think of just like how you are blending all of this in together and like, just and making it part of real life. Hope in the Heights has become integrated into your life, it seems like, in a really beautiful way, while you also balance, everything else. And that's just what we're all trying to figure out imperfectly, right? Day to day. And, I just love how this is showing up in both of our lives and that we live in the same community together. The fact that I walked into our school board candidate forum last night because we got a lot of good candidates here in Shaker. And, I kind of ran out of my house, with my husband home dealing with dinner with the kids and, showed up and I didn't know how many people would be there, or who would be there or whatever. And there was Jennifer just sitting right there. I think I shocked you when
you did
sat down right next to you. You're like, what?
You kind of ran up on me.
I just love that, like, we have these ways of we've exercised together, we have cried together, we have celebrated together, and we sit together and we find our way, in this community and being able to be in this work and be in this life
exactly
in this community together is it makes my life richer. So thank you for all you're doing. And yeah, it's so cool to have you here.
Thank you. I loved being here.
Thanks to everyone for listening today. Before we go, we want to leave you with our self-care tip of the week. This one is from one of our amazing North Carolina organizers, Tori. So this is it. When annoying things happen, just yell, plot twist, and adapt accordingly and keep it rolling. You literally just have to laugh at the insanity of life. I mean, God bless Tori.
I'm definitely taking that one.
Plot twist.
Plot twist.
My kids are going to think I'm so crazy, like rolling in the car and just yelling it out. But you know what? I think they might pick it up too.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that one could catch on real quick.
Yes. Let's make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this podcast and all the work we do at Red, Wine, and Blue is about building community. If this show is helping you lose your shit a little bit less, we'd love your help. If you can take a minute to hit that subscribe button and leave us a rating and review, that'll help us reach even more women and continue to grow this amazing community. Thanks, and we'll see you next week.
How to Not Lose Your Shit is a podcast from Red, Wine, and Blue. It's hosted by Katie Paris and LaFonda Cousin, and produced by Amy Thorstensen. To learn more about Red, Wine, and Blue, you can find us on social media, on the Red, Wine, and Blue app, or on our website at redwine.blue.